it's Alexis and
Ariel
with Crazy Creative, and I'm back at you with another video. I know it's been a while, but today we've got a video having to do with anything with writing, like whether it be stories, fan fictions, roleplay, any type of writing that you do. We have a few tips that we use in our own writing.
Yeah, we're both authors, and we both know what we're talking about.
Well, not necessarily published, but we're working towards that, and we do post a lot of stories on Wattpad.
Yeah.
And as well as I do a lot of roleplay. I have about 6 years experience of roleplay, almost 7. So,
and I'm just getting into that.
So we've got some tips for you guys. All right, so I have my mini pad, and we're going to go into different topics because I have a list on here. And our first topic would be naming. So when you name your characters, like, what do you generally do to name your characters?
Honestly, this may sound dumb, guys, but this is a really good tip, is to go on baby name sites and to look at them. Because baby name sites have incredible names. You want to look at all different languages and nationalities.
Yeah, and when you do that, you can also look at the definitions of names. For example, when I was making my Hunger Games character for, like, my District 7 character for Hunger Games roleplay, since he's from District 7, I wanted something to do with either the woods or lumber or something. So I looked up names that mean, like, forest or woods, and I found the name Adahi, which is something I had never heard before, but I love using it as my character. So that's something that I really like to do, is also look on the baby name sites. It's also good to use, like, unusual names that will capture people's attention.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what kinds of names do you use?
Well, I have
you don't have to give your specifics if you don't want to. But...
Okay, well, it's not really unusual, but it is for a girl. It's not really a girl name, but I like the name Eli for a girl. I don't know why.
Yeah, if you tend to use names that aren't normally seen as that gender's name, that also seems to be quite interesting. I've used, for example, trying to think, I believe that at one point I had a girl named Ray, which is generally something that you hear as more of a guy's name, I would say, R-A-Y.
Oh, okay, or a middle name.
Right, but I've generally heard it as a guy's first name. I mean, it's not completely out there for being, like, it can be a girl's name, and I decided to use it that way.
Yeah.
My character, Ray Lion, that I used for a Hunger Games fanfiction, I believe. I seem to write more Hunger Games fanfictions than other ones. Then again, I also write Harry Potter fanfictions and stuff. We'll link you guys to our Wattpad accounts if she wants to.
Yeah, I have to remember which ones.
Yeah, we'll do it anyways.
Which?
So, for, also, do you have any other tips on first names?
First names are really interesting to do because sometimes you want a name that describes your character.
Mm-hmm.
And it puts your character to life and it gives your character meaning. But sometimes you just want to pick a name and start your story. It just depends on what you want to do.
Like, I have a character, her name is Sana, S-A-N-A, and her name is actually Latin for healer, and she always seems to be the one who's there for everyone, always trying to support and help people, so I figured that was a good name for her. And then I also have characters like Stormia, whose name really has no real meaning. I just kind of threw it in there.
Yeah, that was fun to make up.
Yeah. Next, oops, iPad locked. Hold on.
Hold on, guys.
Okay, next is last names. Those, how do you come up with last names?
I look up last names on the computer, or I take last names from people I know, or I will take last names I've heard of. I'll take the beginning of one and the end of another and combine them.
Now, what I've done is I've even taken, like, certain words and put a twist on them. Like, I have a character with the last name Auralore, which is aura and color put together. And her first name is Yellow, which is kind of interesting, but that's because she kind of reflects a yellow aura, which would be, like, happiness and always optimistic and things. So I named her Yellow Auralore, which was kind of like yellow aura and color. So, and then for last names, another thing that I'll do sometimes, similar to what you had said, like combining last names, I can't really think of any at this point, but I have taken some last names and put them together kind of into one.
Yeah.
Another thing I've done is I've actually used some common first names as last names because they sound a bit more uncommon that way. I have my character Jay Lily, her last name is Lily. I also have Juliana Rose. Her last name is Rose. I know those are both flowers. I just realized that. But they're also first names, and I use them as last names. I also had I think I named one of my characters like something with the last name King. Which, another thing for last names, I use Google Translate sometimes. I know Google Translate isn't always the most accurate, but you can also just look up in like some sort of like English to French dictionary or English to Spanish or something like that to find foreign languages. And what I did was I went on Google Translate, and to find the last name for my character Blair, because I kind of wanted something that meant like tiger for some reason. I feel like tiger just seems like something for her. I don't know why, but so I actually looked up the word tiger in Turkish, which is Kaplan, which is also actually a last name. So I used that, and I've used Google Translate to find first names as well. I believe that was how I found Sana. And then I have a character named Avis Ibu, which is, Avis means fly in French, and Ibu means owl in French. So any other tips on naming?
No, not really. I can't think of any.
Alright, going to base them off of somebody, don't always base them off of one person.
What I like to do is I like to mash people together. Like, I'll take a trait.
Not physically.
Like, not actually physically, but I will take one aspect of one real person and another aspect of another real person, and maybe a couple more, and I'll put them all together, because it makes it such an interesting character.
Now, if you don't want to base it off of a person, that's perfectly fine. Use your imagination to come up with your characters. Most of the time, I don't base my characters off of anyone, similar to what J.K. Rowling does. J.K. Rowling only based one character in the series off of somebody that she knew, and that was Gilderoy Lockhart. I'm not sure if you knew that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I saw that on a Harry Potter fact thing at some point. I don't remember where I saw that, but that was the case.
And in case you guys can't tell, we are both Harry Potter fans.
I have my Deathly Hallows necklace, heck yes. They should probably know I'm a Harry Potter fan with the amount of videos I post on here and the fact that I made a second channel for just Harry Potter videos. If you guys haven't checked out that channel yet, go ahead. I will put a link in the description. It's Unicorn Firebolt 29059, which is also my Pottermore username, so feel free to add me on there as well. I'm advertising myself now, am I?
That's okay.
So, like, I guess we don't really have much more to elaborate on creating characters unless you have something to throw in there.
When you create characters, you want them to be your own. You don't want to base them off anybody else. You need to make unique characters.
Well, I mean, you can base them off of people you know. That by saying that, you were kind of contradicting what we had said before.
Oh, no, I wasn't trying to. I'm saying, like, make them your own. Make them, like, don't base your character off of somebody else's character. Like, their actual character they made, not a person's character.
Like, if you had a character that you wanted to come up with, but you decided to completely base them off of Hermione Granger, that wouldn't work. You don't do that.
Exactly, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I just kind of shortened
Elaborated
it up. So with appearance and personality, you definitely want to balance their uniqueness, because if your character is very eccentric in personality, you can make them slightly eccentric in appearance, but you might not want to make them go too crazy. Let's say there's somebody who is actually like some sort of crazy serial killer. Don't make them have like a really striking appearance that everyone's just going to spot them, know exactly who they are. That kind of thing, it doesn't balance. But like, can you go on with what you were saying about your character Taylor?
Okay, so me and Lexi are writing
yeah, it's fine.
Lexi are writing a story together, and it is called
Nature's Storm.
Nature's Storm. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've written.
Usually I remember my stories. So, our stories. We're writing this one, and I have this really eccentric character, Taylor. And her personality is definitely different.
And by the way, she came up with a creative way to spell it. She did Tailor, which is a bit different than you will often see it. So
yeah,
I just decided to be a bit different with her, but not too different.
And I like her style of clothing. It's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
and she acts kind of like you do, except not
as over the top.
No, she's more over the top than you are.
Oh, is she? I can't remember.
Yeah, you're not really over the top, but anyways, she's a bit more eccentric than Ariel here is, but she also has somewhat of a more powerful appearance than she does personality. You don't want to shoot them both right up or make them both completely boring. You want to kind of balance.
So mine's not really balanced, my character.
Well, yours is balanced compared to some that I've seen in fan fictions. I've seen some that are like really, really crazy. Like,
wow.
Let's say they have, and I'm not saying I'm against anybody who is like this. I'm just saying somebody with like, I don't know, this would actually be pretty cool, but somebody with like rainbow hair and crazy clothes.
Oh my god,
that would be pretty awesome.
That would
but
be
like
awesome.
have them be like a sociopath.
That would be interesting.
That'd be kind of frightening.
That would be an interesting story to write.
Right, but I feel like it'd be a bit too unbalanced and would kind of lose the reader.
Depends on what the reader likes, though.
Yes, but it could often lose a reader.
Oh.
Not always, but like it would lose me. It would lose my interest, but it might not lose yours.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta kind of try to take into consideration not everyone has the same taste. So if you want to make some characters like that and some a bit different, you gotta have variety in your characters. Also, keep somewhat mystery to your characters. You don't want to just go spilling all their secrets right away.
Oh no, that's so boring. I've read a book like that. The first chapter, most of the secrets are out, and I stopped reading because it was really, really boring.
Yeah, and it's like you know everything about them. What's the point in really elaborating the story? Like, because if you already know how the character is going to act, then the plot line isn't really as prominent in the story.
No, it's not. It gets really boring really fast. So keep some mystery to your characters.
And also make sure they have, like, some habits and some quirks, because not everyone is going to be, like, this perfect person.
Oh, no.
Nobody's a perfect person. So not only do you want them to have some appearance flaws, which I don't think I mentioned, but, like, make sure they have some personality flaws as well. It could be anything from they brag to they have an obnoxious habit. It could be anything in there.
Yeah, because if you make someone perfect, it's boring, because nobody's perfect. I don't believe in anything perfect. Mm-hmm. I don't believe people can be perfect, or I don't believe things can be perfect, so...
Exactly.
If things were perfect, life would be boring.
Yeah, and stay consistent with your character's personality. Don't just skip around, because if you go from one day they're this sweet little person who has just a few obnoxious little habits to being this, like, absolute jerk to everyone. It's like, unless there's a reason behind it.
Yeah,
don't do that. Like, in the story, or not story, in the movie Mean Girls, they have a really good reason for her kind of, like, turning, because they actually have storyline leading up to it. But if you just, boom, next day she's, like, a jerk, and no explanation. Don't do that.
Yeah, Mean Girls 2 is a really good,
Yeah, we watched that last night. We watched Mean Girls 2 last night.
So yeah, both of them are really good examples of, characters that change.
Yeah, like a good way to make your character's personality change.
Yeah. Exactly.
Also, don't make everyone love them or everyone hate them. Because, like, for example, in Harry Potter, a lot of people, yes, they loved Harry, but realized there were plenty of people who hated him as well.
Like Draco Malfoy, and Voldemort, and Lucius Malfoy,
and
Bellatrix.
Yeah, and it would never be the case that everyone would love somebody or everyone would hate somebody. Just kind of like, you don't want everyone to know your character. It's not really a possibility.
No.
Like, not everyone can know your character.
Unless it's a really, really small town. Like, really, really small. And
like
really
if you have, like, 50 people in your town or something.
Yeah.
But if you have, like, a regular-sized school with, like, I don't know, like a school our size or something with, like...
Tons of
at least 300 kids in each grade.
Oh, yeah, at least.
And that might even be underestimating. But, if you have a school as big as ours, not everyone's going to know who they are. If I go up to somebody and say, oh, do you know John Smith? I don't know, I just threw a name out there. Do you know John Smith? No, I don't know who that is. That would be more how it would be. It wouldn't be, oh, yeah, everyone knows who he is. It doesn't really work that way. I mean, in Harry Potter, everyone knows who he is, but he has a reason for that.
So, in celebrities, I don't know who every celebrity is, because I don't really pay attention, so not everyone's going to know your name.
Exactly.
Or your character's name, or your name. It applies to books and real life.
Mm-hmm. Another one would be, keep the reader guessing, but don't leave major plot holes. You're going to want to leave some questions with the reader.
Of course.
Like, make them have to think about things, but never just leave a giant plot hole. Like, let's say you had this whole thing where these people were captured, like these aliens were captured and they got away, but you never explained how they got away. that's not a good question to leave them with.
No.
That's more of just a giant plot hole because you, like, skip from them being in captivity to them being home.
Unless you're going to explain it later, like
Yeah.
some authors do.
Yeah, you can leave a plot hole for a bit, but don't leave it for the entire book. Because then, especially if you don't write a sequel, because then it's like there are questions that are never going to be answered.
Yeah, and what you also want to do is, sometimes it's really good if you're going to go on a writing site and you want to do writing, to leave cliffhangers. It keeps the reader guessing.
Yeah, at the end of chapters and stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes at the end of your book, but, like, don't make it the biggest plot point has the cliffhanger. Like, you might want to leave little bits of it, or maybe even something that is rather important, but don't make it, like,
Super.
like, let's say this person, let's say somebody got killed or something,
Yeah.
and the whole book is focused on figuring out who the killer was, but you never figure it out in the end. That's a big plot hole.
Some people do that. Sometimes it's really interesting that way. It depends, though.
It can be, but sometimes it does get rather annoying to me anyways. I don't know about you, but
It depends on...
yeah, it really
type.
depends on the story and the type of plot hole.
Yeah.
Also, I guess we can move on to, I think we have just one more section on here, actually. Locations. Don't always choose the most popular places for your character to live, like New York City, London, Paris, California, places like that. I mean, you can, but it's best if you do that, use places you've been to or that you've at least done sufficient research on. Like, if I were to write something taking place in London, I could do that because I've done a lot of research on London despite the fact of never being there. But if I wanted to do something that took place in California, I've done no research on California. I couldn't do that.
I know a little bit about California, and if I wanted to write a story about it, I could.
Yeah.
If I did some more research. But
Yeah.
You always want to get your facts right. You don't want to get them wrong.
Or, like, if you're going to come up with a town that's non-existent, try to make it be there for a reason. Like, whether it takes place in a different time period, whether it takes place, like, a few years in the future or something, or whether it's just some town that
Nobody's
heard of because nobody knows about it, really.
Yeah, because it's small. Or
Yeah.
yeah.
It's best if you're going to choose a specific town. Like, when I was writing a story at one point, my character Bianca was from Hope, New York, which is a place I have never been, I had never heard of, but I looked it up, and I had done some research on it, and I was able to have a whole 3 chapters take place in her hometown, and I knew what I was writing because of the research I did. Yes, it takes a while, but it's worth it to write a good story.
Now,
I'm not saying stories aren't good if you don't research, but they can be a bit more accurate, I would say.
Yeah. Okay, so
That is the end of our list, but if you guys have any more questions or want a second part to this video, we would be willing to do one. We're not sure how soon it would be out, but we can definitely get one done at some point.
yeah.
Generally, Ariel is the one I do videos with the most because we are in contact the most, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
I think it's been since, like,
Before Christmas.
yeah, before Christmas time.
I've been super busy. I've been focusing on school more recently.
And it's probably going to be consistent with you being the person who's in the most of my videos because I don't see the others very much. Not that I see you very much, but I see you more than them.
Oh, wow.
Not even intentionally, it's just how schedules work out.
Yeah, it really is.
But, yeah, if you guys are interested in more videos,
Let us know.
yeah,
Subscribe
certainly.
or comment or whatever you guys do.
Yeah. So, we will talk to you all later.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
See you, everyone. Stay
What I like to do is I like to mash people together